Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here tonight to tell you a very strange story. A story so strange that no one will believe it. But ladies and gentlemen, seeing is believing. And we, my partners and I, have brought back the living proof of our adventure. An adventure in which 12 of our party met horrible death. And now, ladies and gentlemen, before I tell you any more, I'm going to show you the greatest thing your eyes have ever beheld. He was a king and a god in the world he knew. But now he comes to civilization, merely a captive, a show to gratify your curiosity. Ladies and gentlemen, look at Kong, the eighth wonder of the world.
Hello and welcome to The Lowdown on the Plus Up, a podcast where we look at everyone's favorite theme park attractions, lands, textures, and novelties. We talk in, over, about, and through our week's topic, and then, with literally no concern for practicality, safety, or economic viability, we come up with ways to make them better. My name is Kelly McCubbin, columnist for the theme park website Boardwalk Times, and with me, as always, is Peter Overstreet, University Professor of Animation and Film History in Northern California. Hey, Pete.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today?
Today we're going to talk about one of the biggest attractions in theme park history.
Yeah, a primal attraction.
A very primal attraction, yes, indeed. We're going to talk about King Kong.
King Kong.
That's right. The eighth wonder of the world.
The eighth wonder of the world. One of the most foundational fantasy movies of all time. Mm-hmm. Many of the most foundational fantasy movies of all time. And certainly one of the most significant rides in theme park history. Twice.
Yes.
This is the attraction both at Universal in Hollywood and Universal in Orlando that propelled them to the kind of mass superstardom of theme parks that they ended up at. You know, it starts with Jaws, and what Jaws did in the 70s, Kong did in the 80s.
Yes. I mean, and a lot of people really do consider this as like one of the big foundational pieces to do this. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, before we started, I thought a couple of interesting pieces of just theme park news.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
And hey, Muppet News Flash.
This just in. Kelly McCubbin on the scene. Go, Kelly.
Oddly, there's Muppet News too, but I was thinking about that. Hey, the Roger Rabbit cartoon spin.
Yes.
You can't spin it anymore.
What?
Yeah, it does spin. So the title's not literally wrong, but they've taken the ability for riders to spin it away from the riders. So now it spins on its own.
I think it's because vomit doesn't actually fluoresce under UV light, so it's harder for them to clean up.
I think vomit has a similar reaction to dip.
Yeah. So I think, maybe, melts I don't away. Know. I remember going on a test run on that thing. I was gifted this remarkable opportunity of somebody pulling me aside. He's like, you want to try it? And got to ride that thing, and it didn't have any guards on the spin at all. So going through that ride, just going, it was crazy. But there's got to, like, I don't know. It kind of makes the whole point moot to me because, like, that's the story is Benny spinning around.
Well, and he still does. I've watched some ride-throughs, and it actually spins quite a bit. In some ways, it might spin more than you could have done it on your own. So that's interesting, but part of the charm was that it was teacups in a dark ride.
Maybe Roger Rabbit. I mean, this is definitely like maybe a future episode for us to cover.
For sure.
But I would definitely say, like, I can already kind of know what my plus up would be at this point, which is make the ride a trackless ride system.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. That would be so much fun.
Just no Mickey going, nothing can stop us now.
I kind of love that song.
I do too. I actually like it.
Speaking of test testing an attraction, my other piece of theme park news actually kind of weirdly dovetails into me testing an attraction once, which was I was at Florida. I was at Disney World in like the early 90s. And I think I was in line for the Carousel of Progress because that's how I roll.
Nice.
And some guy came and grabbed me and my girlfriend at the time and said, hey, do you want to try out a new attraction we're working on?
Right.
And we said, okay. And so, because, Carousel of Progress, you get out of line, you're back in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And we tried out the virtual flying carpets of Aladdin attraction. They put headsets on us. And 10 minutes or so, we flew around the desert in virtual reality. It was kind of cool.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because I know one of the developers who worked on that.
Yeah.
Is an Imagineer named Ken Cope.
Yeah.
And Ken is a former coworker of mine from my video game days. And I know Ken listens. So hello, Ken, you've been mentioned.
Hey, Ken.
And he's a massive Wizard of Oz fanatic.
Oh.
Very obsessed with the glass kitty cat inside of TikTok and all that. I'm sure he'll correct me on that. But also...
making stuff up now.
Well, yeah, I mean... that's just me. But also, he is a massive fire sign theater.
Well, then he's a good person.
And I think he dated, for a time, one of the fire sign theater's guys' daughters.
Okay, that's getting a little weird, but sure. That's taking fandom one step too far.
My dad dated Ken Nordine's daughter briefly, so there you go.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
But so, and I did ride or experience, I don't know what it is when you have a helmet on. I did experience the flying carpets of Aladdin in the Disney Quest that was in Chicago.
Nice.
And it was okay. Anyway, but that's not the attraction I wanted to talk about, but it's related. It is the 25th anniversary of what I might consider the dumbest attraction that Disney has ever put in a park, Aladdin's Flying Carpets in Adventureland in the Magic Kingdom.
Oh,
but it's the 25th anniversary. It is rare that I look at an attraction and say, I would rather have had the path that was here.
Wow.
It doesn't work. I like that the camels spit at you when you're on it, but otherwise it's a Dumbo ride that seems kind of out of place. And
yeah, because it's like right across from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, it's just like smack in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
And it's just, it doesn't look great. And happy birthday to it.
Well, it should have, let's go back to plus-ups. And what it should be actually Prince Ali of Boo Boo's Carousel of Joy or something like that. So it's the whole parade. And they could play, Prince Ali, fabulous he, and it's all done. And Genie's on top conducting this orchestra. It should have been Carousel.
Could have been a beautiful carousel.
But they don't listen to us.
I don't understand why it's so hard to pull off an Aladdin attraction. You have in the Disney canon, I can think of two movies that I most associate with sweeping fast motion.
Yeah.
And it's that one and Peter Pan. And Peter Pan, they nailed it. Like, we got an attraction, we get that swooping fast motion in the dark ride. Why is that never the way they go with Aladdin?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought I'd bring those up before we started.
Great. All right, so
King Kong.
Back to the jungles of Skull Island.
Now, Pete doesn't know a whole lot about the movie King Kong, so I'm going to be kind of guiding him a lot.
Oh, hoofa.
So Pete has written a book about King Kong.
And more specifically, not just King Kong. So, little backstory. King Kong was a movie that, when I was very, very little, helped me get over my initial conception of mortality.
Okay.
I was about 3 years old. I'm sitting in my father's lap. And then at one point, I just suddenly realized, at some point, I'm going to die. And what is that going to feel like? And it really scared me. Like it does many of us. And I had a complete flip out at 3, but I couldn't explain what it was. I still remember it very vividly.
Yeah.
We're sitting at my parents' house in San Jose, California, and I just started crying. And my dad and I go, I don't want to die. And he's like, well, you're not gonna. You're 3 years old. But he didn't get it that I suddenly had already at 3 years old understood the gravity of mortality.
Wow, we went deep fast. Okay.
Oh yeah,
keep going.
But in order to calm me down, he goes, let's just sit on my lap, and he cuddled me. It was one of those rare moments where my dad really like snuggled me that I remember. And I'm sitting in his lap, and he turns on Channel 2. It was late at night, and on comes Bob Wilkins in Creature Features on Channel 2.
Yeah.
And there's Bob Wilkins. Hi, everybody. We're going to show you a really good movie called King Kong. And it's really, really interesting. So just keep watching this movie. And for those of you listening right now, this is how Bob Wilkins sounds. Look him up. He really is. Yeah. He was the weirdest of horror hosts because he would sit in a yellow rocking chair and smoke a cigar.
Yeah.
He's this very unimposing little guy, but he was the right tone for the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Everybody loved Bob Wilkins.
Real sweetheart, the kind of wry sense of humor.
And I saw King Kong, and I fell in love with that movie.
Yeah.
Anytime that there was any new corded medium, whether it be CED discs, laser discs, DVD, VHS, Betamax.
Yeah.
We even had a Super 8 movie version of King Kong. I was obsessed from that point on with the movie King Kong. Yeah. I don't know why, but it just hit a chord with me. And during the pandemic, I started showing my kid horror movies, old horror movies. Like, okay, it's time to show Frankenstein, Dracula, the Wolfman.
Yeah.
And then I showed her King Kong, and she loved King Kong. She thought it was great. And while we were watching the credits, she goes, wait a minute, it's written by somebody named Ruth Rose. Who's Ruth Rose? And I looked it up. I did a quick little Google search, and it just opened the door of like, wait a minute, who was this person who wrote the movie King Kong?
Yeah.
And it became this rabbit hole that I fell down into for 3 years, researching and writing a book called The Eighth Wonder that I'm currently going through literary agents and editors right now trying to get it published. But yeah, it's like about a 400-page novel.
Yeah.
That's a dramatization of how this woman came to write the movie King Kong. Yeah. And I won't go into all of it, but I do need to tell you a little bit about her because it's pretty danged amazing.
Well, it's a fascinating story. And I've read an early draft of Pete's book, and it's terrific. And this is the underbelly of Hollywood that we don't talk about anymore, which was, women kind of ran Hollywood for a while. And then suddenly they were persona non grata and had to fight to get back in.
Yeah. So oddly enough, and it's interesting that it gets timed to the pandemic, the story begins during another pandemic, the Spanish flu outbreak of 1919. Shuts down theaters in Broadway, and there was an actress whose father was a great playwright named Edward Rose. Edward was, at the time, a big socialite. He actually hung out with Rube Goldberg a lot. And he hobnobbed with everybody. I mean, he was big high society.
Yeah.
He owned his own theater. His wife had passed away when Ruth was only 3 years old. When Ruth was about 18, she ran away during World War I and served as a truck driver. And while she was driving this truck, she actually got strafed by German biplanes.
Yeah.
And survived. She has a thing about biplanes that she don't like them. Keep that in mind. Over time, she got back to New York. Her father just tried to keep getting her married off to some big socialite. Yeah. She's like, I don't want to do that. That's not my life. I don't want that. I've had my taste of adventure and I want more. And she started telling this to her mentor, which was this guy who is famous for being the first person ever to play Sherlock Holmes on the stage, on the screen. Yeah. His name is William Gillette. Yeah. And William Gillette is actually the person that we get Elementary, My Dear Watson. Yeah. We also get the curly pipe. Yeah. That is famous for the famous Sherlock Holmes pipe. Right. And also the deerstalker cap. That all comes from...
Doyle doesn't mention the deerstalker cap?
Nope.
Interesting.
That is not a Doyle thing. That's actually a Gillette thing.
Oh.
Doyle would later include the deerstalker cap, but that was after the dramatizations that Gillette had done.
Interestingly enough, I just saw a thing where some theater in Northern California is doing a retrospective of silent Sherlock Holmes films.
Ooh.
Soon.
Oh, we may have to go.
Yeah, I'll see if I can dig it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on one auspicious day, we know it's in June. We know I think it's June 15th or something like that. But this is 1923. And in 1923, Ruth Rose is going out on a date with William Gillette. Now, I should tell you, Ruth at this time was in her early 20s, and William Gillette was rapidly approaching his 60s.
Yeah.
He had started off as a family friend, but Ruth had developed a kind of a mentorship relationship with him, and then eventually kind of a friends with benefits relationship with William Gillette. Uh-huh. So he was kind of the first love of her life.
Yeah.
But his heart wasn't really into having this long-term relationship with Ruth.
Yeah.
Plus his heart was still attached to his wife who had passed away of tuberculosis. They go out to a movie, and strangely enough, it's John Barrymore in Sherlock Holmes. She had to buy the tickets, and he said, I'll buy you dinner if you buy the tickets. They go out to dinner at a automat, this fabulous chrome automat. And for those who don't know what an automat is, watch episodes of Loki on Disney Plus.
Right.
Every time that he and Morpheus go out for key lime pie, they're sitting in an automat. These were real places.
Oh, yeah. There's a really great documentary from a couple of years back that Mel Brooks executive produced about the history of the automat. It's terrific.
They were spectacular. I got to eat at one when I was 5 years old in Los Angeles, and now it's gone. So anyway, all of a sudden there's this little girl with red hair, big glasses, a little bit of an overbite, and she's wearing this beautiful little red hat, red pea coat, and she comes up to him with a postcard from Coney Island.
Yeah.
This is in New York, by the way. So Coney Island, and a pencil and a little British accent. She goes, "Pardon me, sir, are you Mr. Sherlock Holmes?" And William Gillette goes, "Why, yes, I am, dear." I'm trying to humor the child.
Right.
"Why, yes, I am, dear." "Can I have your autograph, please?" And he's, "Who do I make it out to?" "Jean." "Jean what?" "Jean Doyle." Jean Doyle is the daughter of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. The Doyle family were in New York City on a tour of another book that Doyle had written about spiritualism. This is after the Cottingley Ferries incident.
Yeah.
So the Doyle family were there, and Ruth was a big fan of Doyle's work, especially Sherlock Holmes. And she's fanboying out. And of course, Gillette introduces Ruth to Doyle. He says, "Well, it's very nice to make your acquaintance. We have a bit of an appointment. Would you like to join us to go on a little adventure?" And Ruth's like, "Did you arrange this?" And of course, Gillette looks at her and goes, "Elementary, my dear Ruth, elementary."
Yeah.
And they get into a cab, and they are taken to the tallest building in New York City. At the time, the tallest building in New York City was the McAlpin Hotel.
Yeah.
And the McAlpin Hotel was having a symposium and had all these red banners with SAM all over it. And for those who are in the know, that means the Society of American Magicians. It was their annual convention.
Yeah.
And Doyle, Sir Arthur, was a guest of honor. And when they arrived at the hotel, you've got Bill Gillette, the first guy to play Sherlock Holmes, Ruth Rose, who would eventually write King Kong, and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
They show up at the hotel to visit Harry Houdini. And everybody I have the program from this thing. They were serving quail. They were serving chocolate ice cream sundaes and all this kind of stuff. So, and Bess Ronner, a.k.a. Bess Houdini, was passing out dollies that she had made herself of Harry Houdini that were sewn together with gold thread to celebrate Harry's birthday.
Wow.
The Doyles arrive, and they're met by this guy in a straw fedora and a seersucker suit. And he's sitting there smoking cigarettes, and he's got these crates with him on a luggage cart.
Yeah.
And he goes into the hotel with them. Houdini is escaping from a straitjacket when they arrive up on the stage.
Yeah.
Show off as he is. And they get seated at a table at the very back of this long lecture hall. And after Houdini's showing off, they're seated at a table with the owner of the New York Times, where Ruth was working as a ghostwriter. So it's like, oh, there's the big boss.
Yeah.
Doyle gets invited up onto the stage by Harry Houdini. And he says, "So I understand you're the guest of honor. Ladies and gentlemen, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle." And Doyle gets up, he pulls a little piece of paper, and he basically says, "I know many of you have laughed at my expense over a certain account of fairies, and I appreciate the joke. I have something I would like to share with you, and I'm going to tell you that it is purely scientific, and what you're about to see is real. So, Mr. O'Brien, if you would please. And the guy in the seersucker suit starts up this traveling motion picture projector that he had brought in those crates. And up on the screen, up on the stage, are dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Cavorting and fighting triceratopses, a lost world, veritable lost world. One woman screamed at the violence of a Tyrannosaurus Rex attacking a Stegosaurus. And people were like, oh, what is it's real.
Yeah.
You have to understand, motion picture technology was still in its infancy at this point.
Yeah.
And Doyle looks really smug as he watches Houdini, watches with his mouth agape, just, And what it was, the O'Brien in question was a man from Oakland, California, who had worked at the Panama Pacific International Exposition, was gifted a camera by the Thomas Edison Corporation to do experiments with clay, because he was a sculptor. He actually sculpted a lot of figures in the Palace of Fine Arts, which still stands to this day in San Francisco. This guy's name is Willis O'Brien.
Yeah, the great Willis O'Brien.
Who is a special effects genius.
Yeah.
And Doyle and O'Brien fooled a room full of magicians, including Houdini himself, with footage that was test footage for a motion picture version of Doyle's book, The Lost World.
Yep.
And Ruth Rose was there to witness it, so therefore she wrote the article. Doyle fools magicians at Society Do. I actually have a copy of that article. And at the end, it finally fesses up. It was published 24 hours later. So Doyle just let him stew in it for 24 hours as a big FU over the fairies debacle.
Yeah.
And at the end, it says the footage is actually from a genius photographer named Willis O'Brien from Oakland, California. And it's test footage for a movie based off of Doyle's book.
That is the first time that Willis O'Brien and Ruth Rose
cross paths. Yeah.
And not potentially the most important time.
No.
Because they encounter each other again in the making of
King Kong.
King Kong.
Absolutely. I want to talk just very briefly a little bit more about Ruth. The brief overview is that Gillette sets her free, basically breaks up with her about a year later. But the same day, about 15 minutes later, he had made arrangements for a explorer by the name of William Beebe, a very famous naturalist of his day.
Yeah.
He was the first man to go down to the bottom of the sea, quote unquote, in a bathysphere. And Beebe was organizing a voyage to the Galapagos Islands. And he needed a historian for his ship. So Gillette hooked him up with Ruth Rose. She sold everything she owned. And they go on this voyage that includes hurricanes and typhoons, etc. And Ruth's job was to basically write the ship's log. As a matter of fact, there is a book called The Arcturus Adventure that catalogs this entire journey.
Yeah.
Another one that you can look up. And there's a PDF available online if you can find it. It's worth a read.
Yeah.
But Ruth was the actual writer of that. She took all of Beebe's notes. By the time they get to Cuba, and they stop off, they're refueling the ship, the Arcturus, which is this big wooden steamship that when you look at it, there are models and photographs of it. When you look at it, you go, oh my God, it's the ship from King Kong. It's the Venture.
Yeah.
It really is the model for the Venture. And they get a message saying, there's a couple of filmmakers over in the Middle East right now that have been stranded by their producer.
Yeah.
They have no money. If we pay them, they have agreed to send us their cinematographer, and he'll meet you in Panama.
Yeah.
The cinematographer, no joke, stows away aboard a real smuggler ship in Casablanca bound for Panama. He gets discovered, and the only reason why he's not killed is he's really good at playing poker. So he plays the ultimate game of death versus the ship's captain, who lets him live because he beats the captain at poker.
Yeah.
He's like, I like this guy. So the cinematographer lives, and I'll do whatever it takes, but I got to get to Panama. We'll get you there. And he became friends with the captain. Like he had a way of getting to know people.
Yeah.
So the Arcturus arrives at Panama. At the bottom of the gangplank, they see this guy in a beautiful white suit, Panama hat, looks total Hollywood. And he's got this big, ugly looking, tall, gangly thug with him carrying all this equipment for him.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that must be him. He looks like Hollywood. Bring him on board. Permission to come aboard? Yeah, come on up. And he says, oh, you must be Ernest Schudsack. And the guy in the white suit goes, oh, no. I'm the travel agent.
Yeah.
This is Ernest Schutzack. And there's the big ugly guy going, hey, actually he wasn't ugly, but he was unshaven and burly. Yeah. And he's got this camera strapped across his shoulder, like holding it across his shoulders. And these cameras weigh about 80 pounds. Yeah. They're huge. Mm-hmm. Ruth is behind him because she's going after her pet, who has gotten loose. She had nicknamed him Houdini. Because he kept escaping his cage, but his real name was Chiriki. It was a little spider monkey that she had acquired in Costa Rica. No, not Costa Rica. Sorry, Belize. So William Beebe says, this is the captain, this is this. And that's Ruth Rose. Schutzack turns around, but as he turns around, he beams her in the face by accident with his camera.
Right.
Gives her a black eye. Just boom, knocks her out. And he just goes, women. And walks off. Like, what? And that's Ernest B. Schutzack.
Yeah.
And they hated each other for the first couple of weeks of this voyage.
Yeah.
Hated each other.
Yeah.
And during that time, they went to Albemarle Island where they witnessed and almost died in an actual volcanic explosion with poisonous gas, lava flows, and dead boobies. Yeah. The birds. Come on, you sickos. Well, like they literally were running from a lava flow and lava bombs. One lava bomb actually destroyed the movie camera.
Yeah.
Right next to his head.
Yeah.
So it could have killed Ernest. They also went to an island in the Cocos Islands where Ruth tested out William Beebe's diving helmet and discovered a real pirate skeleton with real pirate treasure.
Yeah.
And like, it's insane.
Yeah.
And she wound up with a ruby that she used in her wedding ring.
Wow.
And during a hurricane, Chiriki almost went into the water and Ernest saved the monkey. And then Ruth made him a dinner as a thank you. And they actually got to know each other by actually, I don't know, talking. And at the end of the night, he looks at her and he goes, say, I guess I love you. And they fell in love and they were married on the ship.
Yeah.
And they got to New York and they were met by Ernest Schutzack's business partner, Marion C. Cooper.
Yes.
Marion C. Cooper and Ernest Schutzack, you should know, would eventually become the directors of King Kong.
Right.
And they have more adventures that are just myriad of, like, there's crocodile attacks and elephant stampedes. And I'm not joking, and a man-eating tiger named Mr. Crooked. It's insane. Eventually, Cooper becomes the head of production development at R.K.O. Studios. So Cooper comes up with an idea where there was a series of movies that were being made at the time. And I'm just going to warn you who are listening at home, if you are overly sensitive to racial stereotyping, now's the time to fast forward a little bit.
Yeah.
But this is history, so I'm going to say it. There was a lot of movies that were based around racist depictions of African-American men lusting after white women.
Yeah.
Thinly veiled in the form of gorilla pictures.
Yes.
Movies like Ingagi and White Gorilla and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Where basically a gorilla grabs a woman and takes her off to sexually assault her in the woods.
It's uncomfortable stuff.
It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I've seen them all because I've been researching this book and you have to know this stuff. Yeah. And I refuse to watch them again because they're just utter garbage.
Yeah.
But the one thing ahead of that is important to know was a guy named Charlie Gamora, who was Filipino, who was a stuntman who learned that he could make more money because he didn't really look like any other actor, but he was a really good stuntman. He had worked with Yakima Kamut and Joe Bonomo. And he said, look, I need a different gig. Well, he made a pretty bad monkey outfit. And he started being in some of these gorilla pictures in this monkey outfit. And he became one of Hollywood's first gorilla men. These professional actors who own their own gorilla suit. And if you needed a monkey, like if you had a Three Stooges movie and a gorilla pops out and starts chasing after Curly, it's probably Charlie Gamora. And while this is all happening at R.K.O., there's a photographer named William Mortensen.
Yeah.
William Mortensen is famous for making this photo. And believe me, guys who are listening, you're going to go, where's Pete going with this? Trust me. William Mortensen was a photographer who made these concocted photographs of witches and devils and swamis and stuff. They were very creative.
Yeah.
But he also took a lot of pictures with Charlie Gamora in his gorilla suit with naked women. Yeah. Because that's what sold. Yeah. A lot of these movies and a lot of these photographs were mainly sold down in the Bible Belt. Yeah. Especially below the Mason-Dixon line. Yeah. I mean, it's racism, thinly veiled racism, of course, and repressed sexuality. Yeah. So anyway, William Mortensen took a lot of photographs of this very beautiful pert, naked, blonde woman with this gorilla.
Uh-huh.
She was living with him at the time.
Yeah.
She was also 15 years old.
Oh, dear.
Her name was Fay Ray.
Wow.
And when her mom found out about it, it was this big public scandal.
Yeah.
Only one photograph survives of the tons that he had taken because...
That's probably for the best.
Oh, yeah. Mom sued him. I've read her autobiography. Fay Ray was trouble on a stick.
Yeah, though I will say, having read that Frank Capra book that I read recently, later in her life, she really got things together, and she married the great screenwriter Robert Riskin.
Yes, she did.
Who wrote like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington and Mr. Deeds Goes to Town and stuff like that. And and they were a powerful couple and really, really great people.
Yeah, he's the turning point for Faye.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet.
No.
So William Mortensen, so those photographs were viewed by none other and used as inspiration for, they inspired Marion C. Cooper to, I know what we'll do. We're going to make the biggest film ever. It'll have a giant gorilla and it'll be great. This big monkey. It'll be a gorilla hunt. It'll be like 7 feet tall. It'll be great. And it'll go after this beautiful blonde girl. We'll go into the jungle. It'll be perfect. Make another gorilla picture. Cooper does something really malicious. He hires Ruth to work in the writing department, the story department. He says, look, what I want you to do is come out on a weekend. I want you to walk around and take a look. Maybe I got to cut costs because we're losing money. We've got this guy named Walt Disney. He's making all these cartoons and they cost a lot of money. We're distributing these cartoons for him, but that's our only moneymaker. We got to make more money.
Yeah.
So we need to find a way how to cut costs. You're a great editor. You're actually a pretty good writer.
Yeah.
Let's see what you can do. And she goes, okay. So she started becoming a script doctor.
Yeah.
And while wandering around on a lunch break, she walks into this room that has all this camera equipment. And there's this little Latino guy sitting down with clay modeling a stegosaurus. And his name is Marcel Delgado. Marcel was the business partner of Willis O'Brien.
Yeah.
She had wandered into the miniatures department where they were filming test footage for a movie called Creation. Which is a pile of garbage.
It got made?
No, they wrote the script. The only footage that actually exists is all of Willis O'Brien's model test footage. But the rest, like I've read the script in the Peter Jackson version of King Kong and the big deluxe DVD set that they put out.
Yeah.
In the supplemental materials, they have a section where they describe what the story was.
Oh.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's like, no wonder this didn't get made.
Yeah.
But the test footage was remarkable. O'Brien had developed the O'Brien process of stop motion animation. He's considered the father of stop motion animation.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, Willis O'Brien has 2 kids. One is blind and one is slightly crippled. And his wife, Hazel, is a raging alcoholic. Eventually, like, they become friends. She's like, you're that guy from the McAlpin Hotel. He's like, oh, yeah, I remember you. And they become friends. And so when Cooper's like, how are we going to make this movie, this gorilla movie? And Ruth's like, I got an idea for a movie.
Yeah.
And she starts typing up a script called The Eighth Wonder, where she takes her experiences from the Arcturus adventure and she starts writing that as The Eighth Wonder. She starts putting herself in the role. She is basically Fay Ray's character of Ann Darrow.
Yeah.
The character of Jack Driscoll is based heavily off of her husband, Ernest Schudsack.
Yeah.
And of course, Carl Denham is based very heavily off of Marion C. Cooper.
Yeah, it's a very meta movie, King Kong.
Very meta.
It's partially what makes it so interesting is that it has this self-reflexivity to it, where it's like we went out and did these nature documentaries and we worked on them, and what if they turned out this way?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Marion C. Cooper says, he hears like, well, we got to write a script. And Ruth's like, I got a script. No, you know what we need to do? We need to hire somebody with panache. We need somebody with style. Yeah. We're going to get Edgar Wallace. And Edgar Wallace was like this British playwright who didn't write a word.
Yeah.
He put it off for 6 months. He was on the payroll, didn't type a word until Marion C. Cooper locked him up at the Beverly Hills Hotel.
Yeah. But
this is during February. They both caught pneumonia.
Yeah.
And Edgar Wallace dies. He only gets screen credit because it was his contract.
Does he get screen credit? I thought it was her and Bruce Cabot.
No, Ruth Rose. And then the following writer, a guy named James Creelman. James Creelman gets credit. Okay. But Creelman, his script like made the budget go right through the roof.
Yeah.
Like, no. Like Cooper's like, we're trying to save money, dude.
Yeah.
And in order to save money, they worked on a double production where they double cast. They used the exact same sets for another film that they filmed on alternating days.
Yeah.
So one day you're filming King Kong, the next you'd be filming The Most Dangerous Game.
Yeah.
All the jungles, they even have the log that King Kong throws the sailors off of.
Yeah.
It's in the movie, The Most Dangerous Game. It's the King Kong set.
Yeah.
Like they reused the castle set from Dracula as the background for the Baron's house with all the heads on the wall and stuff. But Creelman became the main writer on Most Dangerous Game. He's like, get away from King Kong and come up with it. And finally, Ruth gets her shot.
Yeah.
And she becomes the writer on King Kong.
Yeah.
And she helps Willis O'Brien. There's a whole bunch of other things that happened, but the main crux of it is that she helps Willis O'Brien get his deadlines done. Yeah. She stays on top of it. She collaborates with, I was about to say Elmo Lincoln, that's Tarzan.
Yeah.
Noble Johnson, who's an African-American actor who was a childhood friend of Lon Chaney Sr.
Oh, interesting.
And hated the fact that so many white actors were going blackface, so he used to do the opposite. He used to audition for roles in whiteface and get the roles. He was that good of an actor. And he and his brother started the first African-American motion picture company for and by black people, the Lincoln Film Association.
Yeah.
And they made like 3 or 4 movies. It was because of him and Ruth Rose's relationship with him that Noble Johnson was actually able to negotiate comparable pay for all the African-American native actors to have the same rate as white actors.
Yeah.
Which is a bit, I mean, it's like, because Cooper wanted to use a bunch of white actors in blackface and like, and of course, like Johnson's like.
Cooper could be a jerk sometimes.
Oh, what do you mean sometimes? This guy's a major jerk.
And I only know this from your book. But
but Johnson's like, dude, I have a movie company with a ton of extras. And I've got a whole bunch of dancing. Let's get dancers in here for real people. Yeah. So he got a bunch of African-American actors real work.
Yeah.
So, and Noble Johnson plays the chief.
Yeah.
In that film.
Yeah. And I just want to pause for a second. And because we've talked about this before, and obviously we run up against it here. We recognize there's racial problems.
100%.
With movies like King Kong.
Yes.
And I like to look at these things by saying, hey, this is a great film, and it has significant racial problems that we should never repeat and we should learn from.
Yeah.
I think both of those things can be held at the same time.
They must be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
and King Kong's a really great example of that. Like when you watch it, it is truly a masterpiece, and it has some problems.
It's got some problems. I mean, very much the issue of, once again, I mean, it's another guerrilla picture.
For sure.
It starts off. Here's the interesting thing, though.
Yeah.
It starts off as Marion C. Cooper's movie. Mm-hmm. When you watch it, you can tell when the tone shifts.
Yeah.
Where Marion C. Cooper's totally in charge of it.
Yeah.
Because it's very much a guerrilla picture of giant black man after white woman trope.
Right. Yeah.
And then it changes after the T-Rex fight.
Yeah.
In King Kong. And then Kong is the hero of that movie. You suddenly realize it's not Anne, it's not Driscoll, it's none of the sailors. They're just the instigators and the provocateurs. Kong is the hero of the story.
And we're gonna see this interesting switch back and forth as we move through the history of Kong, even within the theme park rides.
Yeah,
that Kong is sometimes the good guy and sometimes the bad guy, and it is unclear what you're gonna get.
So, little note about the T-Rex fight.
Yes,
the first kaiju fight, by the way, in film.
Yeah.
So for all you kaiju fans, this is where it all comes from.
Yeah.
While they were filming that, Willis O'Brien was going through quite a problem. He had a very public divorce. Yeah, he was going through a divorce and a custody battle. And while they were filming the T-Rex fight, his wife Hazel got custody of both the boys. And she was suffering from tuberculosis and a raging alcoholic and a vocally and physically abusive mother. And so O'Brien's like, what are you doing? But the courts tended to side with women at this time when it came to custody like this. So he had to kind of give in. Unfortunately, the day he found out was the wrongest possible day that Marion C. Cooper stride into the miniatures department and start yelling at Willis O'Brien.
Yeah.
Where he basically said, like, where's that O'Brien? You know, O'Brien, these two, you've got the T-Rex and Kong. They look like a pair of pansies, like dancing around each other. This is not a fight. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, I'll show you how to fight. And like Ruth is like, Marion, don't do that. Go. And Marcel like puts his hand on her shoulder and goes, no, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Because Marcel knew something that Ruth didn't.
Yeah.
Willis O'Brien used to be a prize fighter.
Yeah.
It is rumored he knocked out Jack London one time at a prize fight in Oakland. Cooper starts like shadow boxing with him and takes a swing and actually lands a punch on O'Brien.
Yeah.
Bad idea, because O'Brien goes, oh, okay. All right. You want to fight? I'll show you a fight. And they start really going for it. They're throwing each other into furniture. They're beating each other up. One of the models of the Styracosaurus got damaged in the fight.
Yeah.
Until finally O'Brien had managed to knock Cooper down and started punching him furiously in the face, going, this is what you've done. You've taken him away from me. You've taken away, like taking his rage against his wife out on Coop.
Yeah.
And Schutzack comes in and goes, God, what's happening? Oh, my God. Pulls O'Brien off of Cooper. Cooper's on the floor, bloodied.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everybody's like watching as Cooper is just sitting there, catching his breath. And Schutzack's like, Coop, you all right? And he turns over and he spits out a tooth. Blood just. And he looks over at O'Brien and he goes, make it more like that and we're good. And he walked off. Okay.
And it changed the relationship after that.
Absolutely.
And O'Brien's going to stick with us through this.
Oh, 100%.
For a little bit, because O'Brien actually ties into Universal's relationship with the Kong franchise.
He does interact with Ruth again on Son of Kong, which was made the same year as King Kong.
Yeah.
They filmed it in 6 months and it's a pile of garbage.
It's not good.
It's really bad. And Ruth just kind of goes away and raises her son.
The Lowdown on the Plus Up is a Boardwalk Times podcast. At boardwalktimes.net, you'll find some of the most well-considered and insightful writing about the Walt Disney Company, Disney history, and the universe of theme parks available anywhere. Come join us at boardwalktimes.net. Willis O'Brien, around 1960, 1961, he comes up with this idea that he shares with a friend of his, John Beck, who's a pretty prodigious producer around the time. The idea is that there is a giant Frankenstein that King Kong returns to battle. So big battle between King Kong and this giant Frankenstein creature. And when Willis O'Brien thinks that this is going to sell. So he starts sketching out the story, he starts mocking up sketches, and he gives it to John Beck, who says, yeah, I think this maybe has some legs. So they start shopping it around, and they try to shop it to R.K.O., they try to shop it to Paramount, try to shop it to Universal. Nobody's biting.
Okay.
So it starts to kind of die out. And John Beck, without talking to O'Brien, takes the idea to Toho Studios in Japan.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And Toho's interested. Now, there's real questions at this point about who actually has the rights to King Kong.
Right.
R.K.O. famously didn't bother to renew them.
Oh, my God.
But there was something that the Library of Congress found a little bit later, suggested that maybe they had done enough, but it's not clear.
Oh, jeez.
So Beck goes and sells this idea.
By the way, real quick, the title of the film is King Kong versus Prometheus.
It becomes King Kong versus Prometheus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it starts off as King Kong versus Frankenstein, then it becomes King Kong versus Prometheus.
Right.
And then it gets sold to Toho, the creators of Godzilla.
Yep.
And they buy it. But Willis is left out of the deal. So he has absolutely been screwed here. Toho takes it and says, well, not so sure about the giant Frankenstein, which is interesting because later they do make a giant Frankenstein movie.
Yes, they do. Yeah, absolutely. Which is, oh my God, Frankenstein versus Baguran. Yeah.
But we've got Ishiro Honda, the director of the original Godzilla film, who's interested in making King Kong versus Godzilla. Since you've given us this outline of King Kong fighting another giant monster, we'll assume that you've given us the rights to that.
Oh, my God.
And Beck says, that's great. I'm going to bring Universal in. We're going to found Universal International. And King Kong versus Godzilla becomes the first Toho Universal International co-production.
To quote the Mystery Science Theater 3000 guys, isn't it the fact that it's Universal International make it international?
Yes.
Anyway.
So it's King Kong versus Godzilla, a pretty mediocre film.
Yeah.
Even with the background of having Honda involved in it, it's not very good. O'Brien starts to seriously decline after this. Like, he's just crushed. He's not getting much work. This one idea that he had that he thought was good got stolen from him and made into a crappy movie. I've got a great quote from Marion C. Cooper, who was still around when this was made.
What he's famous for as a producer?
Mm.
This is Cinerama.
Oh, yeah.
That's Marion C. Cooper. That was his last big project. Anyway, go ahead.
So they asked Marion C. Cooper about like the later Kong, and he said, I was indignant when some Japanese company made a belittling thing to a creative mind called King Kong versus Godzilla. I believe they even stooped so low as to use a man in a gorilla suit, which I have spoken out against so often in the early days of King Kong.
Which, by the way, I'm going to call
exactly true.
I'm going to call absolute BS on that, because the first person he called was Charlie Gamora. Anyway, go ahead.
So the movie comes out. It does all right. I mean, it makes some money. It gets released in the U.S. and in Japan pretty close to simultaneously. They have slightly different edits, but it is a myth that they have different endings.
Yeah.
They do not. They both end the exact same way.
Yep.
Then Honda makes a sequel called King Kong Escapes.
Right.
Also bad.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that the one with Mecha Godzilla or something like that?
I think it is, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
He actually has like a spinning light on the top of his head or something.
It's so terrible.
They're bad.
But the reason this is significant, not only because it's the decline of Willis O'Brien, who dies a couple of years after King Kong versus Godzilla comes out. I'm just despondent. But it's also interesting because at this point, Universal thinks that they have some sort of rights to King Kong. and there's some reason to that.
Sure.
Like they've made these two co-productions with Toho that have King Kong in it.
Right.
They believe that there have been some verbal agreements with R.K.O. who are still asserting their rights, even though it's pretty tenuous.
Right.
And so Universal decides in the late 70s, or not late 70s, in like 1974, they're going to make a new King Kong movie.
Okay.
But at the same time, Paramount Pictures and Dino De Laurentiis are negotiating with R.K.O. for the rights to make a new King Kong picture.
Oh, my God.
So, Hollywood being Hollywood, they all sue each other.
Right.
They sue like crazy for a couple of years. Eventually, Paramount and De Laurentiis win. And so the deal, but it's not a like absolute win. It is they get to make their movie first, and then 18 months later, Universal can make a Kong movie. That's the deal.
Okay, can I make a quick little last minute little thing about Willis O'Brien here?
Yeah.
Now we're on this timeline that take us into the 70s.
Yeah.
First off, Willis O'Brien died in 1962.
Yep.
Despondent. Totally
the year after King Kong versus Godzilla comes out.
Yep. And what's really wild is his last two films. One is a remake of Journey to the Center of the Earth. Jules Verne's Journey to the Center of the Earth, which features dinosaurs.
I kind of remember that. I kind of liked it.
Yeah. In this version, however, instead of using stop motion photography, the production was so cheap, he was forced to buying iguanas at a local pet store and gluing fins on them, Flash Gordon style.
Oh.
It was like, really? You hired Willis O'Brien for that? The last piece of stop motion animation that Willis O'Brien ever did was for Stanley Kramer's It's a Mad, 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 Mad World.
Yeah.
At the very end, you've got all the characters on top of a very tall fire ladder, and it's swinging around madly. That's animated by Willis O'Brien.
Yeah.
And it almost is like a cymbal where it spins around and smashes down. It's like, that's the end of Willis O'Brien.
Yeah.
So,
oh, bless him. What a great man. So De Laurentiis made his huge, big budget 1976 King Kong film, directed by John Guillermin.
Yeah.
Written by Lorenzo Semple.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lorenzo Semple. I forgot he wrote.
Yeah. And starring Jeff Bridges and Jessica Lange.
Yep. And Charles Grodin. Don't forget a very irate Charles Grodin.
Yeah. It's really mediocre.
Yes, it is.
Like, I want it to be better, but it's just not. They had obvious production problems. Yeah. As Pete pointed out to me earlier, they built the largest animatronic in history.
It was a full-size Kong.
Yeah. And you see about 6 seconds of it.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Because it doesn't work.
It's so bad. They did have some breakthroughs with these gigantic mechanical hands.
Yeah.
That apparently were all hydraulic, and Jessica Lange almost got killed by them a couple of times because they'd knock her over because they're moved on forklifts.
Yeah.
The photographs of these things, they're insane.
Yeah.
And the production, and the movie's terrible.
Yeah, it's just all wrong.
While they were in pre-production for the film, Rick got a call from a young foul-mouthed filmmaker named John Landis, who wanted him to help him build a suit for this anthropoid character called Schlock. That's how you have to say it. Schlock!
Oh, yeah.
And check out the trailer, folks, on YouTube. Schlock! Yeah. You have to say it like that. But anyway, John Landis was the Schlockthropus. And if you don't know who John Landis is, he would go on to direct Animal House, The Blues Brothers, and American Werewolf in London that Rick Baker would win an Oscar for his effects.
Yeah.
But it was with his Schlock outfit and his gorilla suit that he made for Bob Burns in his Halloween show that he got the job to make the suit for. And because they didn't have enough money to hire an actor, Rick just built the suit to fit him.
Yeah.
So Rick Baker himself plays King Kong.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the 76 film.
In like the most big budget King Kong film to date. And they got a guy in a gorilla suit.
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't work. But for Universal, they've kind of dodged a bullet here.
Yeah.
Like what they see happen is this huge budget King Kong film flops. So even though they're allowed to make another Kong film in 18 months, they don't. What they do instead is a couple of years later, they start talking about making a theme park attraction.
Exactly. And that's, by the way, it wasn't as big of a flop as many people think.
Yeah.
It was enough for Universal to go, no. It was a $20 million budget, but it made $90 million international.
Yeah.
And that was enough for the people who were behind the theme parks, including our old buddy,
Bob Gurr,
but also Jay Stein. Jay Bang, man.
Yep.
Jay Stein and Bob Gurr to go, there's enough people who are interested in King Kong still.
They get together in like 81, 82, and they start talking about that they want to put Kong in the tour.
Right.
You know, and at that point, so mostly what Universal is like the tour and some places you can stop and walk around and look at things.
Right.
So this was the question was what were they going to do with Kong? And the initial idea was that they were going to have a big show and it was going to be kind of like happens in both the 33 film and in the 76 film. Kong is chained up on stage and gets loose.
Right.
That's going to be the show. And you're going to just watch it. Mm-hmm. But what that idea doesn't have? A J-Bang.
No, it doesn't have a J-Bang.
Jay Stein did not feel there was a J-Bang there.
Yep.
There's no moment of absolute exhilaration. Though I will say, if you've ever sat in a sideshow and watched the woman turning into gorilla strobe light thing when she breaks out and charges the audience, it's a J-Bang, man.
By the way, what Kelly's talking about, if you want to actually see what that effect looks like, watch Diamonds Are Forever.
That's right. It's in there.
It's in there when Bond, for some reason, is in Circus in Las Vegas. And they slow down the whole story just to show off this effect. But for those of us who are into this sort of thing, it's like, thank God they stopped it. They got this piece of ephemera in this movie.
Yeah, yeah.
It's great.
And I've seen it in person when I was growing up. The Texas State Fair used to still have sideshows.
Yep.
For better or for worse. and so I saw it happen once, and it's thrilling and terrifying.
The girl to a gorilla effect, which relies upon Pepper's ghost illusion.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
And also remember, when you're in Hollywood, go to Universal Studios. Ask for Babs.
Ask for Babs. So Stein decided that this stage show was not what he wanted. So he went to a really odd guy to ask to flesh this out. He went to a incredibly famous art director named Henry Bumstead. Now, Henry Bumstead did...
In relation to Dagwood?
no sandwiches. Henry Bumstead art directed The Furies. He did Vertigo. He did To Kill a Mockingbird.
Wow.
He had a long-term relationship with Clint Eastwood and did stuff like Unforgiven.
Wow.
I mean, he was a very, very talented art director.
Yeah.
And Bumstead came up with the idea of, why don't we put Kong in the tram tour?
Nice.
So you're not going to get off the tram and see a Kong show. The tram is going to run into Kong.
That's cool. That makes me actually get like chills thinking about that again. It's like, yeah, that is actually a great idea.
Yeah. And so he kind of passes that, and we're going to hear about Bumstead again a little bit later, but he passes the idea on. Stein loves it. Stein hires Bob Gurr's new company, Sequoia Creative. So Gurr's gotten a little bit fed up with Disney in the 70s and has decided he's going to go on his own, which is probably a good move. You know what else Sequoia Creative did?
Huh.
They did the giant snake in Conan, the Conan stage show.
Oh, nice.
They did the animated light spiders for the Jackson's Victory Tour.
Okay,
that was just the weirdest thing I could find.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
But so Bob Gurr's company and another guy that we hear a lot about in Universal, Gary Goddard, start working to put a story together. So the story that they come up with is that Kong now is the tram's going to go into an area where they're in a simulation of New York, and Kong is going to pop up in front of the bridge and start shaking the tram. Eventually, they're like, well, maybe he should shake the bridge. That makes a little more sense. So that's what they did. So Gurr, to sell this idea to Stein, to say, hey, this is how it's going to work, he builds a 30-foot tall painted Kong and puts it on top of the animation production building in Arrieta, California, just to show Stein how impressive it is. Just builds it and puts it on top of a building. And
wow.
Stein has the weirdest reaction to this, and I think it's hilarious. He says, it's great. It's exciting. Let's try a test with just the legs. Like, why the legs?
Jay, is there something you want to tell us?
Like,
he's got a monkey foot fetish or something? Like, what is going on here?
Gurr convinces him that maybe they should test with a head.
Well, using Kong as a head for scale and so forth is not a new thing. They actually built a fake replica head to take around to promote the movie.
Yeah.
There's famous shots of that.
Yeah.
My father has a connection to that.
Oh, yeah.
Right around, my father graduated the same year from high school that Willis O'Brien passed away from James Monroe High School down in Sepulveda, California. For a school prank, one of his buddies in high school, actually his dad owned what was left of that giant King Kong head.
Oh, huh.
From the 30s promotional. So they grabbed it.
Yeah.
And they put it on top of the administration building as a senior prank. So everybody pulls up and there's King Kong atop of James Monroe High.
Wow.
And so that's my family's connection to the King Kong head of that era. But yeah, that's a true story. But yeah, I mean, Jay Stein wanting to see the feet.
Yeah, like why?
Why?
Almost, I can't think of any scenario where you could really even see the legs that much,
right?
So, and certainly
I guess he was
that's
thinking,
not
like,
what happened.
I want people to feel like he's going to step on you.
I guess.
Maybe?
Anyway, Gurr talks him into the head.
Thank God.
They work for a while. The first head doesn't quite work out. The actuators can't quite move things well enough. Yep. Gurr tries again. They try a whole bunch of different skins. Mm-hmm. And eventually he ends up with this fairly light skin on the head with these sort of air cylinder actuators. Mm-hmm. And they start, and it works. And suddenly the Kong head is terrifying.
And I mean, this is again a testament to Bob Gurr and his genius. I'm looking at it right now. There's a model that he made of the counterbalance mechanism.
Yeah, I love that.
Used for this.
I think it's really neat. So the reason he made that, there's two like counterbalance weights on the bottom of the frame. Mm-hmm. The reason he made that was so that if anything failed, Kong would fail upwards. Right? The counterbalance weights would go down and lift the rest of his frame up, and he would stop until the next instruction came.
Right.
That's so he would not fall on anything.
Yep.
Because he's big.
It's quite, I guess he would sneak people onto like Kong's body. They would take rides on it and stuff like that and swing on it and stuff.
Yeah. There'd be like 9 people in the Kong head.
Right. While the tram's going by.
Yes. And this was not just when they were testing. This was after it opened. Oh my God. They would do it. Yeah, he thought it was great.
So good.
And also, talking about testing the different materials, you can find a video of one of the early hand tests for Bob. They were trying a new kind of plastic. It wasn't working out. And they said, well, it's going to cost a lot for us to dump this. Why don't you take it home, Bob? So Bob Gurr, to this day, has one of the original test Kong hands, and the plastic is disintegrating.
Yeah.
So it's melting into his floor. So the Kong hand is now permanently affixed to Bob Gurr's carpet in his house.
I'm looking at it right now. It looks like Kong has been through an oil slick. It's
right.
So gross.
It's like, even if you wanted to get rid of it, there's no chance.
And Bob just, yeah, well, it's melting in my floor. There it is.
The head of Kong was about 10 feet.
Yeah.
And one of the...
Just the head.
Just the head.
Just
right.
The head. Yeah.
And one of the rules of animatronics is that you don't want people to get a close-up look. But that ain't the rule with Jay Stein.
Nope.
Jay Stein, you're going to be right up against this thing. So they had to really work at building actuators. There's like 29 different computer motions just in the head.
Oh.
It was so close that they had to hand attach every whisker so it would look right. I mean, the detail is incredible.
He was beautiful.
Yeah, he had 32 separate teeth. He was beautiful and terrifying.
He really was. I remember seeing this in person, and he was gorgeous and terrifying. It's like, wow, this is actually scary.
Yeah. And so one of the interesting things that they do in this attraction, so you're on the tram ride. You've all done the tram ride.
Ask for Babs.
Yeah, ask for Babs. So you go into this sound stage, and you're supposedly going to New York City via the Brooklyn Bridge. You pass a bunch of tenements where something seems to have gone wrong.
Yeah.
You're seeing like news reports in windows from these tenement buildings that's like, Kong is rampaging the city.
I see a tram down there. Wait a second. And she pulls out a megaphone like, you down there. Yeah. You have to get away from King Kong.
As they move forward, like you're seeing like fire plugs have been unearthed, and there's steam and water shooting everywhere, and things are on fire. Then at a certain point, the fuselage of a helicopter, which was an actual helicopter, like
full-size helicopter.
Yeah, it was given to them by a Vietnam vet that worked at Universal, and it was a CIA spy copter.
Holy God!
So they just took the innards out and put it on that crane, and the copter kind of drops towards your tram. If you watch,
fire goes off.
Yeah.
You actually see like there's a silhouette of a helicopter because there's searchlights everywhere, and you actually see this paw swipe it.
Yeah.
And boom, and hits it, and all of a sudden, down comes this helicopter. It is so
in flames.
Yeah, with Kong just growling away in the background there. It's like, oh my God, this is terrifying.
And then you got to the Brooklyn Bridge, and Kong kind of raised up. His hands are on the cables of the bridge, and he starts shaking the bridge with you on it.
Oh, yeah.
And the one thing that they did that I thought was so brilliant was when the tram lands on the bridge, you land on this sort of Teflon plate that slides.
Why Teflon?
Because it slides.
So the wheels are actually not moving, or the Teflon is moving?
So the wheels are on the Teflon, and the Teflon's sliding.
Spreading forever chemicals, DuPont style.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So when the Kong appears to be shaking the bridge, and what's actually happening is the bridge is shaking and Kong's just attached to the wires.
Yeah.
The Teflon slides suddenly back. Oh. And it was startling.
Oh, yeah. It really was like, it would, whoa, that's not good. Oh, my, going right towards him. Oh, my God. And then I love the tram would pull forward for the next car to get wiggled around.
Yeah, right.
Then it would pull forward a little bit more and wiggle them and pull forward.
Yeah.
Geez, well, you get the tour guide, Babs.
Right.
Would basically say, like, make sure that you gotta get the tram, start it up again. Hold on a second, folks. We're having some problems with the clutch.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, like,
roar. And the whole thing was a tremendous hit. People loved it. Oh, and Banana Breath.
The infamous Banana Breath, which was a major J-bang.
Major J-bang.
Because I want to smell bananas.
Yeah. Well, and Jay was arguing that he wanted it to smell bad, like garbage.
Yeah.
And they kept coming back to, no, Jay, you don't want to do that.
Oh, come on.
And finally they got a banana essence smell and the sort of air impeller.
Yep.
So that it would shoot very directly at the audience. So, it wouldn't spread throughout the whole building.
It smells like banana flavored Laffy Taffy.
That's right.
If you want to know what that smells. So grab a stick of Laffy Taffy, banana flavor, and smell it. That's what King Kong's breath would smell like.
Right.
In the attraction.
Right.
By the way, the actress who was the news reporter on the helicopter who gets killed, not really, the actress character gets killed, but the actress survives, is Sherry J. Wilson. She was a regular on Walker, Texas Ranger.
All right.
So there you go.
But so, and it was just a great attraction. When they installed it, it was kind of a huge hit.
It was a massive hit.
Yeah. And they actually were increasing their audience numbers by a percentage larger than what Disney was increasing their audience numbers. I mean, just a really big thing.
A lot of people within the theme park industry actually credit this version of what eventually would be nicknamed Kongfrontation. That's the official title from Florida. Florida version.
And you hear people also refer to this one as Kongfrontation sometimes, and I think they might have used it in some ads.
Yeah.
But it's really officially the King Kong encounter.
Yes. So the King Kong encounter in the theme park industry is widely agreed upon as being a big turning point for Universal Studios.
Yes.
Like what Kelly just said with numbers, but also the approach of telling a story with big spectacle with an audience on their tram tour.
Yeah, and it keyed another thing to happen. When they were still working on it, Universal had been courting Steven Spielberg for a while.
Yeah.
To get him to work on stuff, and he was interested, but he had this he was a little bit hands-off.
Yeah.
But he ends up going to visit where they're working with Kong, and he finds that one of the guys that's working on it is this guy, Peter Alexander, who's kind of a theme park legend. He was with Imagineering. He worked at Universal for a long time. He ran the Totally Fun company, which I think is still around, still doing stuff. And he was working on it. And Spielberg got there and saw him and was like, wait a minute, wasn't I best man at your wedding?
What?
And it turns out that, yes, he was. They just hadn't seen each other for 6 years.
Oh, my God.
And he was like, oh, my God, it's you. And so Alexander was like, you want me to show you put Kong through his paces? You want to see what he does? And Spielberg's like, yeah. And so he shows Spielberg. Spielberg immediately, because Spielberg and George Lucas have been having kind of testy exchanges. They love each other. But Lucas was showing off things like Star Tours.
Right.
And telling Spielberg that he was making a mistake to get hooked up with Universal.
Uh-huh.
So Spielberg sees Kong.
Right.
And says, okay, you guys know what you're doing. Let's see what you can do with Back to the Future.
Uh-huh.
So that comes from this. So the whole like Spielberg Universal thing, it existed before, but it launches here. And so you get the E.T. ride, you get Back to the Future, eventually you get Jurassic Park. All of that starts because Spielberg is thrilled watching Kong.
Wild.
Yeah. Interestingly, Spielberg never rode the Kong attraction in Florida, which is the park he's most involved in, because Steven Spielberg is afraid of heights.
I had no idea.
Yeah. He can't, he never has done the drop in the Jurassic Park ride.
What a...
Yeah.
Dude, this is... Wait a second. That doesn't square up for me, because No, you're right. I'm sorry. It was Lucas that ran across the rope bridge in Temple of Doom.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? In 1976, also what it came out?
Yeah.
Jaws.
Right.
Along with King Kong. There was actually an issue of Famous Monsters that has this great painting that a lot of people went, oh my God, I wish that was real.
Right.
It's a picture of Jaws about to chomp this woman in the water, but King Kong is hanging onto his tail. And it covers ape versus Jaws.
Yeah.
Shark versus ape or something like that. And it's very obviously a whole thing devoted to the King Kong movie and Jaws.
Yeah.
But there was another movie that came out not long after both of those that combined them. It's called APE.
Okay.
Ape.
Yeah.
And in parentheses, not to be confused with King Kong.
Yeah.
Because like Universal sued them like going, nope. But the poster, it looks like a promotional poster for Universal Studios because it looks like this King Kong character. And it's actually based off of an old 1933 King Kong movie poster of Kong throttling a great white shark and wrestling with a giant boa constrictor while standing on the wreckage of the Poseidon. It's insane. It's a Jack Harris movie. Defy the jaws of a giant shark, destroy a teeming city, demolish an ocean liner, vanquish monster reptile, ape. Not to be confused with King Kong.
That's the funniest thing about it.
It's the best. That is the best thing about it. And it was released in 3D.
If by some miracle you survive King Kong, you get to face this. The Miami Vice Action Spectacular. 50 incredible stunts in 15 amazing minutes. Miami Vice and King Kong, a dynamite duo at the Universal Studios Tour. When
the King Kong encounter on the tram ride in Hollywood opens up, it's such a huge hit. Sidney Sheinberg, who was, occasional president, occasional CEO of Universal,
major mentor to Spielberg.
Yeah, major mentor to Spielberg. He takes out a full-page ad in the Orlando Sentinel. So this is in Hollywood. But he takes out a full-page ad in the Orlando Sentinel with Kong's face that says, "Plan on seeing us in Florida one day."
Wow.
Which is totally just a swipe at Eisner.
Wow.
It's like, we're coming.
Oh my. Wow.
And so it's a huge hit. It lasts for a long time. People love it. And then something real bad happens. 2008, the Universal Studios fire.
Yeah.
It seems like the Universal Studios fire in 2008 started because a workman was trying to heat up some of his tiles that he was going to put on a building. So heat them up to make them softer.
Right.
And then walked away before they cooled completely. And the fire started. Oh. It knocked out about 3 acres of the backlot, which doesn't sound like much, but it was a lot of warehouses there.
Yeah.
Took out a whole bunch of video and film and took out the Kong attraction completely. Now, most of the video and film, if not all, it's a little unclear, there was backups.
Okay.
Elsewhere. So that was fine. There has been an ongoing controversy about the audio masters that were held in those warehouses.
Oh, no.
Initially, Universal said none of those were affected. Later, it was found that some of them were. There were estimates up to like 50,000 separate audio masters might have been destroyed without backup. But it's very unclear. Like the New York Times wrote a long story about it, suggesting that the losses were really huge. Universal came back and said, this is just not true. Anything that we lost, we had copies of. A lot of artists came in and said, either like we thought we had lost our stuff, but we now realize that we haven't.
Okay.
And some are like, no, we think our masters are gone. Really, really unclear. There were lawsuits, but some.
Yeah.
And for sure, we lost the King Kong attraction. That was the warehouse that burned.
And another thing about fire in King Kong, at the R.K.O. lot, which is now the Paramount lot, they used to have this massive set, which was the giant gates of Skull Island.
Yeah.
Did you know what those were burned down for? Gone with the Wind.
Oh.
They're burned down to show the burning of Atlanta.
Yeah.
There's a shot where Gable has put the cover over the horse's head and they're running. And as they're running, you can clearly see the gates of Kong burning down behind them and falling.
Wow.
It is such a heartbreaking moment. And you suddenly realize how big that set really was.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it is such a loss.
Yeah.
It's interesting how Kong is associated a lot with big fires.
With things being burned down.
Yeah. Yeah.
That ends in 2008. It ends up getting replaced in Hollywood with a 3D attraction that's based more on the Peter Jackson film of the time.
Kong 360 3D.
Yeah. And it was fine. I mean, it is fine. It continues now. It's a screen attraction. It's a clever one, but it's not the same.
No.
There's certainly no giant physical ape like rattling.
There's no banana.
Yeah.
There's no banana breath.
There's no banana breath.
There's no J-bang to it, to be really honest.
Right.
And no offense to the people who worked on that, but honestly, I'm really not a fan of the three. I like the Peter Jackson Kong.
I do too. I think it's actually a lot more fun than people give it credit for.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I do not like 360 for many, many reasons.
But we'll roll back a little bit to the opening of Universal Studios Florida.
Yeah, baby.
So in
Kongfrontation.
In 1987, Peter Alexander and Bob Ward, who's another designer, he worked with Disney. He actually worked with Raleigh Crump on Circus World. And he was one of the master planners of Universal Orlando.
Okay.
Ward and Peter Alexander meet at a cafe in Sherman Oaks and say, what are we going to do about Kong in Florida? Because they realize that they cannot open that park without a Kong. It's like trying to open Disney World without a Pirates of the Caribbean. Bad idea.
Right.
So they come up with this idea that you are going to be on the aerial tram to Roosevelt Island, which is a real thing. And that Kong is going to grab your tram, your car, it's like a gondola.
Okay.
And throw it.
Oh, jeez.
So this is what they want to do. And then his idea is that it'll be a longer setup because they've realized, like, we're not going to do this as a tram tour. We're going to do it as a separate attraction. So it's a little longer.
Okay.
So there's this whole setup where they're building New York and similar sort of stuff. The Hollywood one, like there's a path of destruction that Kong has rent through New York. But this one's going to have two Kongs.
What? Two Kongs?
Two Kongs.
Sorry, that's Rodan. What, two Rodan? Anyway.
You go through New York, things are blowing up, similar sort of thing. You run into the first Kong that you get fairly close to, actually, and a helicopter kind of shoots at him and he backs off from you.
Okay.
And you think you're free, but then you're going across the gondola to Roosevelt Island, which for some reason they're evacuating people to Roosevelt Island. I don't know why, because it's
New York.
It's like 3 by 3 miles.
It's New York. What can he explain? What's to explain? Just go with it. And it's designed by guys from California. What do they know about New York?
And in the original plan, Kong's going to pop up. He's going to grab that car and throw it down. There's going to be a drop.
Wow.
And it's going to be terrifying.
Jesus.
But they decide we should kind of figure out how much people are comfortable with being dropped. Let's rig up something. We'll put someone in a harness and free fall him and stop him and see what that's like. And no one wants to do it. So Peter Alexander himself says, I'll do it.
Okay.
So they drop him and then they kind of lose control a little bit.
Oh, no.
And suddenly stop him about 3 feet from the floor.
That makes me twitch on so many levels. 2
hernia operations later.
Oh, God.
I'm not exaggerating. 2 hernia operations later. They decide that this should not be a free fall ride.
No.
So
no. Oh, God.
So they go back in and say, how about we just have him kind of shake it down a little bit?
That's a better idea.
and so as they're building this, remember Henry Bumstead? We talked about him earlier.
Yeah.
So this time they call him back and they say, why don't you just design the whole thing? So he does. Henry Bumstead designs the whole attraction. You know, he's got to put Manhattan and a bridge to Roosevelt Island and a gondola in this like 6-story warehouse.
Makes you wonder if they were like, let's make it like Peter Pan, only scary.
A little bit. Yeah, it kind of has that feel.
Yeah.
And he's using a ton of forced perspective.
Yeah.
Also, he's using a ton of Jarrett's black velour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Which
that's expensive stuff.
It's expensive, but it's good if you want to hide stuff.
That's true.
and so along the way, so once they kind of have the story knocked out, they have 2 companies make proposals for the ride vehicles, and one is Intamin and one is R.K.O. And Intamin tries to do a ride vehicle that's actually on wires. And R.K.O. creates a ride vehicle that's on sort of an accordion base.
Huh. Okay.
Now, interestingly enough, this is pretty similar to kind of how the Indiana Jones vehicles work.
Mm-hmm.
Like
and a little bit like how Star Tours work.
A little bit like how Star Tours works too. They end up going with R.K.O, and that's the one they put in.
Okay.
So when you're on it's gone now, but when the gondola was on the wires weren't really doing very much. Mm-hmm. You were actually on this motorized base that could go up and down fairly suddenly. And you would approach Kong for the second time. And one of the things I love about this attraction, they did this super clever thing because, you know, the helicopters are still playing in like they did in the Hollywood story.
Yeah.
So you kind of round this corner and there's a bright light shining in the tram. So people can't see very well. And the person in charge of the tram's like, helicopter, turn off your light. We can't see. We can't see. And as soon as they turn off the light, there's Kong.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It's an elegant trick.
I'm looking at it right now. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Giant halogen.
Yeah.
And it just, boom, there he is. He's right next to you.
Right. So you can get really
what a great
close.
Gag.
Yeah, without knowing that he's there until he's there.
And his teeth are gnashing right at the windows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, that's spectacular. And he's shaking it. Oh, my God. I'm watching this POV of it right now. Oh, my God. It's so great.
It's really great. And and so he has to, because his arms move. So his arms have to kind of move over the tram and then shake it down.
Oh, yeah.
And at that point, the accordion kind of lifts up and then drops down real fast.
Yeah.
And it was tricky because they had to line things up so that Kong's hands were in the right place at the right time when the vehicle went up and down.
Sure.
Now, what's really interesting to me is that they're trying something similar, kind of on a smaller scale with the Jaws ride. Remember the early iteration of the Jaws ride at Florida had the shark jumping and biting the boat and shaking the boat back and forth.
Right, exactly.
Right.
They couldn't get it to time correctly.
Yeah, and it worked every once in a while. And when it worked, it was supposedly spectacular. But they're trying to do the same thing with Kong here. Like they're trying to get his arms in the right position to then shake the thing up and down.
Okay.
And it's not always working.
Okay.
And it becomes this kind of terrifying thing because if the car's in the wrong place and Kong's arms shoot forward and it go into the car, you could really have some problems.
Oh, yeah.
So almost everything at Universal Studios Florida, when they opened up, it didn't work very well.
Oh, dear.
The opening day of this attraction, they had a power failure.
Oh, no.
Kong was being run manually by the operators. There was no computer. They were just like with Kong.
For a minute, I thought the power was so out. There's like a bunch of guys like pushing him
back and forth.
Move, you damn monkey, move it!
like the computers that ran Kong were just kind of down, so they were just hitting actuators and making them go.
Ow.
There was a point. So Spielberg wouldn't ride it because he's afraid of heights, but he brought some people to ride it.
Of course.
And as soon as he walked away, Peter Alexander took one of them aside and said, "Look, I can't guarantee that this is safe."
Oh, jeez. This was on that day?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And they kind of laughed it off, and sort of everything worked fine. Nobody got hurt. But they shut the ride down that day.
Yeah.
And a lot of rides, like Jaws shut down a couple of weeks later. The Earthquake ride shut down a couple of days later.
Sure.
It was a disaster.
Oh, man.
And this is why, and we talked about this a lot in our Jay Stein episode. This is why for the first year, for much of the year, if you bought a ticket, you got another ticket to come back next year because so much didn't work.
Stick with us, folks. It'll be good, but we got to iron this out.
That's right. Yeah. And eventually,
which takes some balls, I got to say. Yeah. It's like, I know it sucks now, but trust us, it'll be good later. Come back later. It's like, okay.
I mean, they completely rebuilt the Jaws ride from the ground up. Mm-hmm. They fixed the problems with Kong. They fixed the problems with Earthquake. Kong had kind of recurring problems for a long time, which may have led to why they eventually got rid of it. But they got it working, and it was pretty spectacular for a while.
I'm looking at video of this video on YouTube. Also, for anybody who's interested in seeing what the Kong attraction looks like, look up the 1990 movie The Wizard.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a sequence where the kids are running around on the ride, which I'm kind of envious of.
Totally.
It's like, I want to stand right in front of Kong.
By the way, did you know that, like, for one of their earliest Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Orlando, they turned it into a Darkman ride?
Wow. Darkman.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize he was that important to Universal.
I think they thought that was going to be a bigger thing than it was.
Oh, you like Liam Neeson, but you know who we need? James Vosloo.
Oh.
He's perfect. Let's have Jeff Fahey be the top leader. I mean, he was fresh off a Lawnmower Man.
So that was Kongfrontation at Universal. It lasted for a long time. It was a true centerpiece to that park. And eventually, I think, they won't say this, but they were still struggling with some of the mechanics of it for a long time.
Yeah.
They decided to replace it with the Revenge of the Mummy ride, which is a pretty amazing ride.
It is.
To be fair.
It is pretty amazing. Yes, it is.
But a little bit later, they came back and built a new Kong ride, which exists there right now. Again, it's kind of mostly a screen ride, but it's Skull Island, Reign of Kong. And it is, as far as I know, the only ride where your tram operator gets taken away and killed.
Nice.
One of the lizards or something grabs them.
Definitely ask for Babs.
Yeah, definitely ask for Babs. So before we get to the end, I want to play a quick game. Kong good guy, Kong bad guy. Let's go through each movie. Which one is he? 1933 Kong.
Good guy.
Yeah, I think so too. Misunderstood.
No, full on good guy. Not even misunderstood.
Okay.
I mean, he is a reflection of another thing from Ruth Rose's past.
Yeah.
She met Otabanga.
Yeah.
In the Brooklyn Zoo. For those who do not know, this is one of the darkest chapters of racism in America, along with right up there with slavery.
Yeah.
Where this guy basically captured a pygmy from the Congo.
Yeah.
And put him on display at the Brooklyn Zoo in the monkey house.
Yeah. Horrible.
And he was so downtrodden. The poor little guy eventually committed suicide.
Yeah.
But at one point he got loose, and he was there when Ruth Rose met him when he was running around on the loose. Yeah. She gave him popcorn.
Wow.
And he's one of the influences of King Kong, because think about it for a minute.
Yeah.
A man taken out of the jungle and brought to the city and runs loose. There's a great article called "The Girl in the Hairy Paw." And it talks about how there's this whole unspoken thing. I mean, we don't have to go super deep on this whole racism thing.
Yeah.
But it goes into the fact that they castrated Kong.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, wait, what? Now, it's never mentioned.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, so docile. Notice this, notice that. And whether it is like truly physical or whether it's metaphorical, it's there. And when he comes back, he's shot off of the Empire State Building.
Right.
So anyway, all right, good guy from the start. Okay. Enough for the dark cul-de-sac.
King Kong, Son of Kong, same kind of.
Well, I mean, because it's the son of Kong.
Yeah,
he's a good guy.
Yeah,
he's a good guy. He's a baby.
Yeah,
and he saves them, and he's the noble baby that actually saves them by standing on top of a volcano, holding them as the whole island is sinking underwater. So when he dies, they're sitting in his hand in the water.
Yeah,
it's literally like all I'm waiting for him is to put his thumbs up like Terminator 2.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway,
then we jump to King Kong's Godzilla, 1962. I think they both might be bad guys, but in that movie. But there's a question because Kong sometimes seems to be protecting the city from Godzilla.
It's weird.
It's weird. It's
really weird.
Like they really haven't. I don't think they decided.
No, I think we'll put them as like somewhere neutral.
It's like a wrestling match when two guys come in and they kind of think they know who's supposed to be the good guy and the bad guy, but it sort of doesn't work out that way.
Right.
Like that's what that movie is.
Yeah.
That's right, McMahon. King Kong is going after Godzilla.
King Kong escapes, which basically kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Good guy in that one.
I think he's more the good guy in that one.
Because he's versus Mecha Kong.
Yeah. The De Laurentiis film, 1976.
Bad guy.
You think so?
He's made out to be a bad guy in that one.
Yeah, it's true. He's supposed to be scarier.
Yeah.
Than he is someone you're compassionate towards.
And it's more the reason why a lot of people don't like that film.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people want to root for Kong.
Yeah.
So.
It's the Peter Jackson's film.
Oh, are we really going to do that? Are you going to skip past King Kong Lives?
Oh, I forgot about King Kong.
King Kong Lives. He's a bad guy in that one.
He's a bad guy.
Bad guy. Okay.
Actually, we shouldn't skip to the Peter Jackson films because we should include the rides. King Kong Encounter. Bad guy. Yeah. The Kongfrontation. Bad guy.
Yep. Bad guy.
The two 3D rides.
Yeah.
So the one that replaced King Kong Encounter and then Skull Island, it's running now. He's actually a good guy in those.
Yes, he is.
He rescues you.
Well, yeah, because Peter Jackson believes him to be a good guy,
right,
as shown in his films.
Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah.
De Laurentiis, bad guy. Peter Jackson, good guy. What does that get us to Skull Island?
Skull Island, he's a force of nature in that one. Because he's set up as kind of this godlike being.
Yeah.
That is indifferent to the people until the very end.
Yes.
And then we get to Kong versus Godzilla Monarch style. Mm-hmm. He's the good guy.
Yeah.
And weird because like Godzilla fans are like, hey, you're making Godzilla out to be the bad guy here.
Yeah.
It's like, well, he kind of is.
Yeah. And that's always been confusing. Like, do we like Godzilla? Do we not like Godzilla? It's like, well, if it's destroy all monsters, we like him. If it's
you're just saying that just to see the son of Godzilla blow smoke rings.
It's really cute.
It is. Godzuki.
And then versus Kong, the Monarch one, it's
New Kingdom, whatever.
Yeah. Both of those, it's like, it's a bad guy.
In the first, he's the good guy. In the second one, he's really the good guy.
Yeah.
Like Godzilla is really kind of like second banana to him. No pun intended.
Yeah. And like, Godzilla is a force of nature and he's a destructive force of nature. And Kong is different. Like he's something else.
Like in the Monarch films, they make him out to be this god to defend tribes. Like all the Titans guard certain aspects of humanity.
Yeah.
And the creatures of the earth. So Mothra guards a certain level of like higher consciousness and almost Buddhist-like attitudes. Mm-hmm. Rodan is much more of a force of chaos.
Yep. Biollante is protective of the earth.
Yeah. Gamera is, tastes like turtle meat.
Yep.
Gamera's really neat. He's made of turtle meat. We love Gamera. Bermuda.
Oh, we're getting punchy. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway.
So I think that's all of it. It's interesting, right? Like he's useful both ways. He can be a good guy or a bad guy.
And it's all about cultural context and where who's making the film and who's taking it in.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So I think we are at that point in our shoe.
Whew. You made it.
It's been a ride, huh?
It's been an eighth wonder.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
We ignore all practical viability and safety and monetary issues and anything else that these stupid theme park builders get all hung up about. And we make these attractions better.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I already know what mine is.
All right.
So I'm going to pitch a new ride for Universal Studio, either Florida,
doesn't matter,
or where or Parks of Adventure or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's to go back to Kong's roots.
Yes.
And what the attraction is the King Kong experience again, only this time as the tram, as for Babs, pulls up. And by the way, for those who do not know, Ask for Babs is a reference from Animal House. Look it up.
Yeah.
Anyway, pulls up to this lagoon type set area, and there's this huge tipped over rusted hulk of the SS Venture. Mm-hmm. And what the tour guide basically says is, a lot of people talk about lost films and lost props. We have actually recently acquired a lost prop from the original 1933 film King Kong. Mm-hmm. This is the SS Venture, and it's a giant replica of the full-size ship.
Wow.
And when you're in, and you drive into this hole that's on the side of the ship, and you're inside this tilted, like, Poseidon, but it's tilted so the nose is actually going underwater.
Yeah.
So the whole point is we're going to take a shortcut through these holes in the thing. So as you're traversing through the ship, that's when you're attacked by Kong.
Yeah.
But in this particular instance, you also include Jaws, where you have great white sharks in the water.
Jaws in mine too.
Where the shark is like, so you're surrounded. So you got the Jaws shark on one side, and you've got Kong ripping the side of the ship open to get at you from the side of the ship. Yeah. And water is pouring in like the earthquake experience or the flash flood in Little Mexico.
Yeah.
So you're getting wet, and the Kong's going for you, and you got like the shark doesn't actually come out and bite you or anything, but you definitely see like fins like, we don't want to get in that water. And like as Kong reaches for you, the whole ship starts to shift like the bridge used to, and it would slide towards the water. And that's when the shark is like right there.
Yeah.
So it's like, get out of here, right? and it just, so it's basically taking modern technologies and extending them. So there might be some screen involved with Kong ripping open the top of the ship. That could be one giant screen, kind of like how the Shanghai Pirates of the Caribbean utilizes giant LED screens. Yeah. But the shark could be a physical thing, and the water is certainly physical, and you escape. And as you escape, you see the giant gates of Kong or whatever. So it becomes a nice little touch of Universal's history. Yeah. Even though it wasn't Universal, it was R.K.O.
Yeah, it was R.K.O.
But anyway, so that's what I would love to see, is a more physical Kong again. Yes. Complete with banana breath.
Absolutely. And I love you tying it back into the actual filmmaking. Yeah. Because I that's the one thing I would like Universal to start looking back towards is, and did you know their slogan, Ride the Movies, was invented specifically for this? And the reason it was that the early conceptions of this, you were supposed to be revealed at the end of the ride that you were actually part of a film. You were being used for a new Kong film.
See, that was magical. I missed that. I actually missed that little touch. Yeah. Like, you might be in a movie. Yeah. It was like the old days of Universal Studios, taking the tour. It's like, you might wind up in a movie. Yeah. And this is the same thing of, ooh. Yeah. I guess part of that is it's a generational thing. Yeah. Because today, everybody's on video. Everybody's on YouTube. Everybody's on Insta. Everybody communicates like that. So having that, ooh, I'm on video. Ooh, I'm on TV. Ooh, I'm in a movie, doesn't really have the same mystique as it once did. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody is now immortal.
Yeah, it's really true. Also, I think Universal made a choice at a certain point that said we're not going to get too attached to any one idea, because they sort of saw that makes things difficult for Disney.
Yeah.
You know, Disney's like attached to their origin story and attached to their mythology.
Yeah.
And then they struggle to stay modern because of that.
Yeah.
Universal does not care.
Yeah.
They are like, we are going to do what we think's cool.
Yeah.
I think my plus up is actually kind of similar to yours because I wanted Jaws too. I wanted to do something, again, get rid of the screen rides. We're starting fresh.
Yes.
I don't mind some screens in a ride.
Right. A little bit, but don't make the whole thing that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it would kind of start off as a walking tour through Skull Island.
Nice.
So, you know, Skull Island's been quote unquote tamed. Kong's gone. You just to go on a tour, kind of like the Arcturus to the Galapagos. You get to walk on this island and see this mysterious natural thing. But of course, as you move farther and farther, weirder and weirder things start to happen, and you realize that maybe the taming of of Skull Island is not as thorough as you were led to believe. Until eventually you realize that Kong's still there.
Nice.
And you get roared at, and you have to get on a boat.
Okay.
You're going to escape from Skull Island.
This is where Jay Stein's moment of Kong's feet could come into place.
Yes.
Where he stomps right next to you, like, get on the boat. Boom. Giant monkey foot. Just.
And just everyone loads into these boats, and then it becomes like a sort of rapids ride.
Ooh.
But with Kong appearing from, you know, every once in a while, like just a hand or a head. What I was hoping is like you do it and you go through this island. It'd have to be pretty big, but
hey, Islands of Adventure, man, let's do it.
And like you're constantly, Kong is popping up, or like you're riding by and you see Kong like throw a dinosaur. You could have all these encounters that would be terrifying. It would be thrilling. And then at the end, you cascade out sort of Splash Mountain style into the ocean.
Through the legs of Kong standing over the track.
Yes, just the legs.
Yeah, well, yeah, and as it's looking down at you with huge dangly feet.
Right.
What'd you think I was going to say? Swinging overhead. But yeah, just, whoa, there's Kong.
And then like you end up in the ocean, you're safe. And then you hear the Jaws music and just see the fin. And that's the end of the
ride. Or back in the older days in the 70s where they used to have like miniatures of warships.
Yeah.
And one would shoot a torpedo at you as you're going through the waters.
Yeah.
You know, and then Moses comes out.
Yeah, right.
And then parts the Red Sea. It's one giant J-bang.
Yeah.
That'd be so. I like the notion of it being a rapids ride.
Yeah.
Like combining our two plus ups would be great, where it's the rapids ride and like the big finale is actually in the Venture, going through the wreck of the Venture. And that's where the big escape is, because the Venture is literally crammed on the top of a waterfall.
Wow.
And so you're going out through this rusted side and just go straight out the back end of the Venture.
Oh man, that'd be such a good ride.
I'd be all over it.
Yeah.
Universal, give us a call.
Yeah.
Kelly and I do have a history of predicting rides.
That's true.
Saying. So,
and this one is probably the
Jason Sorrell, if you're listening, I'm up for designing. So just, my name might not be Bumstead, but I'll definitely design a ride.
Yeah. I may not have designed the Furies,
but darn it.
All right. Well, thank you for going on this long ride with us.
Yes, it was quite a journey.
The history of one of the greatest film masterpieces of all time and one of the greatest theme park masterpieces of all time.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So until next time, I am Kelly McCubbin.
And I'm Peter Overstreet.
And this is
The Lowdown
on the Plus Up. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Lowdown on the Plus Up. If you have, please tell your friends where you found us. And if you haven't, we can pretend this never happened and need not speak of it again. For a lot more thoughts on theme parks and related stuff, check out my writing for Boardwalk Times at boardwalktimes.net. Feel free to reach out to Pete and I on our Lowdown on the Plus Up Facebook group, or send us a message directly at comments@lowdown-plus-up.com. We really want to hear about how you'd plus these attractions up and read some of your ideas on the show. Our theme music is Goblin, Tinker, Soldier, Spy by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com. We'll have a new episode out real soon. Why? Because we like you.
Jack Black wrote this song, so do yourself a favor, please clap along. Everybody now, clap with me, but do not sing, the singing's my job. You'll only mess up the song, trust me. 1, 2, 3, King Kong, open it in Hong Kong. King Kong, he listens to Cheech and Chong. King Kong, this is his theme song. He's a crazy old gorilla and he guarantee a thriller. And won't you see the movie? You'll be feeling pretty groovy and a ruby. But I want to buy a King Kong. That's the song. They didn't want it in the movie. I don't know.